happening, guys? This is Heavy here with ZBC Motorsports with Rooster, as usual.
Yep.
And today we are going to finally introduce
my pulling tractor, 1951 Minneapolis Moline Z, that I named Lemon Twist when I was young when I started pulling her. And yeah, so we're going to give you a quick walk around of her, and then hopefully at the end here I'll have a little bit of pulling footage to show you, you know, add a little credence to the motorsports part of our name.
finally.
As opposed to, you know, just us doing stupid shit. So, alright, I'm going to have Heavy here grab the camera and I'll give you a tour. Alrighty, starting at the back. It's got a fully custom drawbar because when you're pulling, a lot of times they have restrictions on how high your hitch can be, and different places are different, so you have to be able to adjust it. So, got two turnbuckles hooked up to a sliding plate that is inside of this, which we have mounted straight to the rear end housing, that will raise and lower this depending on what their height restrictions are at the place we're pulling. And you can also see that in addition to this, we also have a weight rack back here to hang some suitcase weights off the ass end to make you really plant the rear end of the tractor and get better traction. Also, wheelie bars. So basically I don't stand this bitch straight the fuck up and, you know, go ass over tea kettle. So
It's always a good turn of phrase.
right. I got the kill switch, although when I'm pulling this I'm going like 1-2 miles per hour, if that. I really feel like if I was to somehow break away from the sled, I'd probably be able to get her under control. But as a safety precaution, some places make us run a kill switch. So here's mine, which is basically just two extension cord ends plugged together. It works though, so who cares? I don't know if you caught it, but when I was real young, when I started pulling, I had just lost my first dog. His name was Roger, and I wanted to commemorate him with something on my tractor. So my dad took a permanent marker and wrote "In memory of Roger Dog" on there. Got a couple of custom gauges, nothing real serious. One original Minneapolis gauge, got water temperature, oil pressure, and a tack from Denny's Carb Shop. I believe that one was a Christmas present when I was little. Another safety feature, we got my fire extinguisher here that, in all honesty, may not even be good anymore. I've had it for years, but one thing I did find out, if you take the fire extinguisher off, you can fit a bottle of Mountain Dew perfectly in there. It holds it beautifully. Although this thing shakes so much when it's moving that your pop goes flat like that, so it's kind of a, you know, damned if you do, damned if you don't sort of thing. And then, Heavy knows this well.
Yes, I do. As you'll see in the footage, well, I don't know whose pull will show first, but you'll know mine because I stand it straight up, drop it back down, and then take off. And as I dropped it back down, because the clutch, hand clutch by the way.
Yeah, it's got a hand clutch.
The clutch is kind of touchy, and yeah, it grabbed, and when it came back down, I bounced into that with my chest.
Yeah. Admittedly, it was your first pull ever, and for your first pull ever, you didn't do too bad.
No, I actually moved the sled, so I was happy with that. We'll give you updates on the actual distance later.
But 206 cubic inch inline 4 motor. I want to say board 60 over, but this was years ago. Me and my dad refurbished this completely when I was young. Got it from my great uncle Kenny, and he passed away. He passed it on to me, and I hope I'm doing him proud up there. I mean, she's still alive and I still drive her. She may not get used on the farm on a daily basis, but I do love her and I try my best to take care of her. So yeah, you know, we did a little bit of work to her. We took the alternator off because we just keep the battery charged, and that keeps a little parasitic drain off of it. We took off, I want to say hydraulics, but like I said, I was so young when me and my dad rebuilt this. I want to say that was the hydraulics. The other side where I put the name plate that I'll show you at the end of the video was a belt drive. I don't know how many of our viewers are old enough to remember tractors that had belt drives. You probably are.
Yes, I am.
But
I've also been to a few threshing demonstrations.
Yeah.
Besides yours.
On that, I'll say on that note, you might have seen this tractor if you followed us on either Facebook or my personal Instagram, because I actually drove this tractor at our threshing here at my dad's farm last year, I didn't run the Thresher because like I said, we removed the belt drive from mine. But there was another guy here had a, I want to say it was a John Deere that had a belt drive on it that we were running Thresher with. Anyways, took that off because that's parasitic drain. Took the hydraulics off to save weight. Belt drive was saving weight too, because the more weight we stripped off of it, the more I can put, if I need some up front, I can move some of that weight up front to exactly where I want it, or midship on the middle weight racks, or all the way at the back underneath where we sit. Basically, I can position the weights where I want them to make the tractor do what I want, because this thing pulls great if you're basically just going down the track, just kind of the front end just a little bit off the ground. It seems to pull great. You know, you get it too high and suddenly you're losing the downward force of the sled pulling down on the hitch. You get too high, and if you got it, you know, too low, it's just none of, you know, you're carrying some of the weight up here instead of back here where you are driving from. So the perfect thing to do is just kind of bob the front end. But you can't always do that. You can't always guess the track perfectly. You can't always guess your gear perfectly, and you know. But that's our goal anyway. Yeah, front weight rack with a pin that I drive through the holes in the suitcase weights to keep them from falling off, which does not always work. Last year or 2 years ago, I can't remember, my father was pulling V8 out at the Stark County Fair, and he, you know, was out at the end, front end way in the air, it stalled, bam, came down, all the weights broke free of his, because he has a real similar setup on the front of his, broke free of his restraint system, fell all over the track, and he got disqualified because something fell off his tractor. So, not a sure-proof thing, but it's always worked for me because mine doesn't usually come down that violently.
You're also not bringing yours that high up in the air.
You did.
Ah, well.
But,
non-intentional.
Right. Anyways,
yes, that is a cold air intake filter.
Hey.
And a stack.
You know, I did what I could to try and make it look cool. But,
it works.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't really know what else I can really tell you all about her. There's not a whole lot more to tell. Hey, I guess I just have you pan over all this stuff, and then I'll tell them goodbye, and if they have any questions, they can ask in the comments, and
yeah, get a hold of us in the comments, get a hold of us through Facebook if you have any questions, you know, stuff you want to know. If you want to see us at an event, let us know when and where the event is, and we will try and be there.
We'll do our best to be there for you. All right. Well, yeah, there's the plate I was talking about that has the name of my tractor on it. My grandpa machined that for me. He's a real good machinist. But anyways, all right, until next time, y'all have fun out there.
Later, guys.